Yeah.
This is Suspenders Unbuttoned, a podcast where friends talk with friends about TV, movies, and books.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast. My name is Sarah.
And my name is Julie, and we are excited to have our guest, director Brandon Clark, back, and he brought some friends.
I did. These are the True Brain Entertainment boys, the True Brains. We got the
True
legendary
Brains.
Brian Bird, aka creator of When Calls the Heart / everything known to man. Then we got the true one and only, the true of True Brand, Ty Truesdale, who is the myth and legend behind half of the things that we do. So,
Hello.
The myth and legend. Wow.
I know. Big
Every time
title.
you're dead or buried.
he's a
and then
living
dug me
legend. Okay,
up.
we have the legend, and then we get
Amen.
so.
Good to
Nice
meet you guys.
with you guys. Thanks for having us.
Big
Well,
time.
thank you for being here. It's so nice to meet you all. Always nice to see you, Brandon. So
right.
welcome back.
Right. Welcome back. We got to meet around it. So, fun fact, Brandon is the first guest we ever had that we met in person before we had him on the podcast. Prior to that, everyone had been virtual. But
Right.
through Ramadan, we got to meet around a little table.
Nice.
Actually, I met them at Jax's engagement party thing. at
Yes.
Ramadan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
then, of course, we got pushed into a podcast with Jax, not
Yep.
a good plot, and then the rest is
Well, she
Trevor.
was the star of that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Trevor surprised us.
Yeah,
He was sitting next to me, but that's okay. And that's where the red solo cups came in.
right. Because
And every
That's
time
what
we podcast after, you guys decided to make a red solo cup, and then Jax actually made me a Twitter account with red solo cup that day because I said I refused to have Twitter. Now I
That's
have
right. And what's your handle, Brandon?
the red solo cup. Right? It's just red solo cup.
no, it's at Brandon Red Cup. Is that
Red Cup.
I don't know. You guys made it.
we made it happen. It's at Brandon Red Cup.
Can you hyphenate, just cut his name and call him Brand Solo.
Brand Solo.
like he's Han Solo, but he's Brand Solo instead.
Sorry, that was horrible.
It's always got to be a Star Wars reference.
At least
Always.
it's not about me. Okay. When I come on your podcast, we always have special guests.
Right. Because he surprised us with Trevor Donovan, and that was the engagement plot. But what are we here to talk about today? Different movie, right?
Ooh, I think we should lean on Brian Bird for this delivery.
Well,
Yeah.
we are here to talk about, with all of your awesome podcast audience, the movie The Happy Camper, which comes to Up Television it starts with Up Faith and Family streamer with a sneak peek on January 20th. So about 9 days from now.
Yep.
And then on February 5th, it comes to the linear channel, to Up TV. And you can then watch it for 4 years if you want to after that.
Yeah. In case
That's
you-
very specific. 4 years.
Not know,
New.
good to know.
not know it was available that long.
So if you miss it, you've got 4 years to watch it.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Catch up. Exactly.
We're going to watch it 400 times. We're happy.
Or watch it. Yep. 400 times.
Hey, every filmmaker's dream. Watch it again and again.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. So tell us a little bit about The Happy Camper. What is this movie about?
I don't want to spoil it, but two people fall in love.
What?
Doctor.
No.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to lean on the writer here. I mean, I can go my version, but
Yes. So The Happy Camper is a fun, uplifting, romantic comedy, which Brandon directed and I helped write it, and we're all executive producers of. It's part of our True Brand company. But it's a really unique story set in the world of vintage trailers. And there's a whole culture of people out there who
this is
buy
true.
these old trailers from the 1950s and 60s, camping trailers, tent trailers, and
Right.
also travel trailers.
When we were researching it, Brian said, check out this culture. And we're like, let's go see it.
It's
They were all
insane.
sold out. We couldn't go visit. Like
Yep.
all of them.
Yeah.
So
No, like the camping show.
yeah, with the actual festivals like in the movie.
Yeah, they have festivals and get-togethers where they all bring their trailers and they barbecue and they spend the night at these campgrounds, at these RV parks, and they're beautiful trailers. They fix them up. they take these old ones and they cherry them out and
It's amazing.
bring them, restore them to beauty, from when they were first made. And it's just part of a culture of a camping club, right? And a trailer club. And so these people meet all over the country. And so we thought, we found a book called The Happy Camper. And so we adapted the book by Melody Carlson, and she helped us adapt it. And essentially it tells a romance set in that world. And so a love story set in that world. And we'd never seen that before. And that's what made it, really unique to us. And we also try very hard in these movies to invoke modern, themes, modern ideas, like the app culture, like people who make apps and they code apps. And so our young romantic leads are sort of come from the world of the app culture, making apps for smartphones. And then they get thrown into this small town culture that is all about vintage trailers. And so it's really fun. And I don't think anybody's ever seen a movie like this. Actually. So we're excited for it.
It's also a reno movie.
Yes.
So we're renovating a trailer.
Yes.
Love that. So who are the actors that you have in your movie?
Speaking of which, of some actors in our movie, I have some other guests.
Yeah.
Would you like to see them? Yeah.
Let's do it. Catherine, can you welcome
Who we got? Oh, whoa, look at that.
in? Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
So
Thank
we're
you, guys.
the people who play Brandon and Vivian. They're actually a married couple. And they've
And
been, I don't know if you recognize Andy over here. She was an engagement plot playing Kelsey.
Yep.
Yes.
Vivian in Happy Camper. And then over here we have Gigi, who played Janelle, who is the sister of the main character played by Bo Weirick, who is Jordan Moore in the movie Happy Camper.
And his real life wife, Daniela Bobadilla,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
is also one of the romantic leads. So we have two married couples in the middle of this movie,
Yeah.
real couples who get to play parts. And we love that because we're all about love and romance and marriage and people committing to each other. And so we love the fact that there's some real life married couples behind these stories, and so much fun.
It's my branch of method acting to romantic comedy, so that's why we go that way.
It's the easy button, right?
Right, exactly.
We love that.
You're done. Thanks.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you.
After we kicked Keir back into bachelorhood in the movie, but he had his real life wife there, Andy, watching over, making sure he didn't.
They want and desire to create a alternate / ending or towards the ending where these two catch eyes at the end at the villains and they get together.
I like it.
Everyone falls in love, even the enemies.
I know. I think that would have been so fun. You say villain. I'm gonna stand that. I'm just misunderstood.
Oh.
I'm not a bad guy.
You're a pretty sweet villain.
Thank you. Sure, I'm not the nicest guy, but
Actually, to make his point, which is something that we discussed, is like at one point I go, "Hey, man, Brian, I got to ask you. We need to be able to fall in love with this guy somewhat, or at least understand why she dated him, because some of these are so ridiculous. And you're like, what? Why would he even spend it? Then it takes really away from your lead actress. I'm like, no, we do have this Brandon though.
Yeah,
I had to find that same thing with Kelsey and with Vivian. It's like they're the antagonist, but there has to be some level of redemption, and you have to learn to love that character somehow. They may be the thorn in your side, but there has to be something redeemable about these girls.
Yeah, we humanize you at the very, very end there, which you'll see at the festival and stuff. Which that was on purpose, and I'm glad to see that.
We're not going to give that away right now, though. You got it.
No spoilers.
I do love about this team.
Oh,
what?
Sorry, I was just gonna say I love that about this team, that they don't want to just go with whatever is the easiest, cheesiest like storyline. They want to make it real. They want to make it believable. And if something is too cheesy, they're like, oh, we got to make fun of that, So it's really good.
Sound like you are actually quoting us. That's
What?
One of the exciting aspects of the Happy Camper for us was that these three actors on screen here with this podcast, Karen, Andy, and Gigi, are all Colorado actors.
Yes.
Right,
And
which is
they-
where this was filmed, correct?
Yep.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
shot this in Colorado, just like we did the engagement plot.
Mhm.
And by the way, they will be featured in our next movie. All three of these.
Spoiler.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Just
Yes.
Jake, which
Just
we are
Jake.
now today in the
Yeah, we're in the-
post production.
We're actually in the post place right now.
editing
Yeah.
that movie because we finished shooting that movie on the 17th of December, and it comes later this year on Up TV as well. But we love these actors so much. When we found them, we have to keep bringing them into the movies. They're really
We have them fooled.
But on top of it, Happy Camper ends towards the end. We shot the end of our shooting days. We actually wrapped in Kira and Andy's hometown in Castle Rock.
right.
Oh, love that. Love
That's
that.
fun.
Yeah, the commute was terrible.
So bad.
And your mom and dad were in that scene the last day too.
Yeah, it was incredibly special. I had to share like a little moment, and I never thought in a million years, having lived in Los Angeles for 10 years, working as much as we could in the TV film industry, to, you know, with COVID and everything, moving back to my hometown. I never would have thought in a million years if anybody had said, oh, just wait, you're going to be in a movie and you're going to spend your final day wrapping your shoot, and you're going to look up and you're going to see the Castle Rock, and your parents are going to be on set, and your husband's going to be there, and you're going to be surrounded by this new family of, you know, TV film people. It was surreal, to say the least. So,
God is funny like that.
you know, I tell you.
For
I
sure.
love that we went from having to make such a big change from COVID to something really positive coming out of that. That's just that's a fun story. That's a beautiful direction. I love that you guys are going to be in the next movie, Just Jake, which has Brittany Bristow in it, and Rob Mays. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we love Brittany. So too, that was also where we met.
So do
friends.
we.
We like Brittany too.
Yeah, we love her.
Hey, can each of you guys tell me just a little bit about each of your characters? Like, just go from left to right, or somebody start.
I'll start because I'm
I'm talking Happy Camper, not just
Jake.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking
back to
Happy
Happy
Camper.
Camper.
I'm talking Happy Camper.
I'll start. I played Janelle, who is the sister of the lead character, and there's a little mishap there in the beginning, and a misunderstanding that kind of leads the story to go in the right direction. So it was really fun being on set, and I got to have my own daughter play my daughter in the movie, so that was really fun. And
Yeah.
Cute.
Amazing.
Great, me. Yeah, I play Brandon Kranz. I'm the lead, Daniela's boyfriend in the show, and like I said, I'm a little misunderstood. Listen, I think I'm like Seattle cool tech hip, and that's just not what the lead character wanted. So, you know, at the end of the day, maybe I don't do the nicest of things, but you're gonna have to watch and decide for yourself.
There's always got to be that like relationship that wasn't meant to be, right?
Well, as much as that's true, Vivian wishes the same thing. I'm Andy, and I play Vivian Porter in the movie. She is the owner of a local cute florist shop in the town where the movie is set in. And I am an old flame of the lead character.
Mhm.
And again, yeah, just a little misunderstood. I think I have my sights set on how I want my reality to be, but it varies from how Bo's character and Daniela's character, the things play out in the movie. So I don't want to say the villain.
Yeah,
You know?
wait,
All
Brandon,
right, okay, fine. We won't call you villain.
Just another obstacle.
Brandon,
Yeah.
I'm seeing a bit of a pattern on casting here.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I feel like it's
There
just
really
as
is, there really is a multiverse love triangle happening in this movie too. Two love triangles, and these two, Karen and Andy actors, are playing who end up being sort of the fifth wheel in those relationships.
Yeah.
But it's really fun because they're both, in fact, all three of these actors are deeply gifted in their comedic timing.
Yes.
Which for us as making movies in Colorado for the first
100%.
time, you know, honestly, we were nervous. Are we going to be able to find local actors who can pull off the comedy?
Mhm.
They all nail it. They all nail it. And it's
Brian.
just, and
Thanks, Brian.
honestly,
Yeah.
honestly,
Not coming from me.
they all nail it because they're really good actors, and they will have big careers that go beyond these movies in Colorado. I guarantee it.
Well, that's
Aw,
really sweet of
thank
you,
you.
Brian, to say. If I can share just a really quick story about how I got to know these guys.
Yes.
I remember my initial audition came in for the engagement plot, and I had actually emailed my agents that I was booked out for like the next month because my other work schedule was so crazy. And I said, if anything comes across your guys' desk, like, let me know, but like, I'm booked out. I don't want to audition for anything. Literally the next day, I get an audition for this movie called The Engagement Plot. And I was like, wrote my agents and I was like, you guys, I just told you I was booked out. And my agents were like, no, you're going to want to audition for this. And so I don't know, as a lady throwing together a self-tape, it's not a very quick process. I was like, oh, I got to do my hair. I got to do my makeup. I have to memorize like 4 pages of script, but you know, as an actor, it's your job. That's what you do. And I threw together this self-tape and I was just like, I went purely on instinct. I sent in the tape and I was like, well, that did not go well.
Little do you know, you don't know me.
I didn't hear anything. They said that they would go through callbacks, and then I was like, yeah, sounds about right. Like callbacks came and went. The date for callbacks came and went. And then I was like going about my day that Monday, and my agent called me and she's like, okay, so you got the part. And I was like, what? That never happens. So I think it's just a testament to how these three, I mean, they took a chance on me. I feel like I got out of my own head. I just kind of went in and did my job. And while I feel like I may not have done my best, they saw the best in me. And I think they take that to set and they let us as actors play to the best of our abilities and break down our inhibitions and just allow us to give these characters depth and truth and honesty. And they're not really controlling about it. So it's a beautiful work environment, and the end product speaks for itself, I think. So.
Oh,
That's a nice story.
I love that.
More jobs. Actually, no, I was kidding. Love you, Andy.
I got to tell you though, one thing about Andy is she's also an amazing artist.
Oh.
Sketches that I got to tell you,
Just see her art on cookies.
Yeah, I thought cookies. That's what
No,
I want to talk about.
she does portraits of guitar players and musicians and all kinds of things. And so the group here, and I'll get into Gigi, and also it's just, this group is so multi-talented, and that's what we really love, is that again, back to the freedom of letting people do what they're going to do. I think if you let people do that, you're going to get a better movie. If you're going to be controlling, and that's one of the things I love about Brandon. I've known Brandon for quite a while.
Yeah, scary,
And,
but
yeah. And you know, that's the one thing I've always liked about him, is he doesn't make, and just to let you know what I do, my main job is distribution. So my job is to find the buyers, international, domestic, Canada, and all that. And to be able to go to them with confidence with the talent, and then looking at the talent and maybe not being familiar with it, but then they see it and they're like, can you get them for the next movie? And that's the greatest feeling for somebody like me who goes in there and is sweating, because I'm going, all right, new talent, we don't know what it is. And Brandon being able to vouch for it. Now, obviously having Brian with his legacy and
Right.
everybody knowing what he can do, we know that the writing and the polish and everything on set is going to be up there. And hopefully it comes across when you guys watch on Up TV. I think you will. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, Julie and I were able to view it, and I can say we both enjoyed it. We thought it was really cute, and I think one thing that really stuck out to me is that it looks different. The way that it is filmed is different than you normally see. So that was really fun to watch. I don't even know how to describe how it's different, but it is.
I'm really blessed to hear that.
You would have to explain the technical terms, but Yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to push the volume cinematically in that film. We did a little bit of engagement plot, but we have more room and freedom now. And that's the beauty of having the freedom to do our own stuff. And we did. I know I don't want to bore everybody, but we pushed longer lenses. We moved the camera quite frequently. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of blocking sequences as opposed to the normal things you're used to. And we also approach scenes completely different and create more depth in the characters. But also there's a mood and tone and rhythm that's set to the movie before we even start.
Yeah.
So that everyone knows, and I hope that I can, relay it out to everybody, to Gigi, to Andy, to Kier, and to everyone that's in the movie. But we planned that on purpose. And this movie in particular was on a farm, the majority of the movie on a ranch. And so to bring out that style, I wanted a touch of Yellowstone that people are used to seeing, a touch of what we see in rom-coms, but also a little bit of a palette that can match the trailers and the syndrome we were going to bring out to life in the festival. So I'm blessed to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was
music to our ears. Honestly, we love. Obviously, I've been doing this a long time. We love the rom-com space. We really do. But sometimes, even watching things that I've been involved with before, sometimes it feels somewhat formulaic, or paint by the numbers. And we don't want to paint any pictures by the numbers when we do these movies. So we are going for just a more interesting approach to things. We want for people to have that comment like, wow, this is refreshing. I haven't seen a movie like this before. And that, honestly, that's part of the problem in our industry. You guys know this as well as we do, is that we hear this all the time. Oh yeah, we can kind of predict where everything is going in these movies. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Right. We're hoping to keep it interesting and mysterious and keep everybody guessing a little bit, but also enjoying all the splendor of the production value. And that's one of the things that we are committed to with our enterprise, True Brand Films Entertainment. We're going to do something a little different every time.
We know, like, one of the reasons you tune into this type of a movie is because you want to know the end. We are very much enjoying a different path of getting there. And so I'm just going to say this. I enjoy the character depths that the way the characters are used, that our actors are bringing to us in this film. It gives a different rhythm or timing to the film, because it's not just these two leads bumping into each other all the time. There's more depth to the storytelling. And I love that you have found some outstanding people to bring along in your films. We can see it when we watch.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm going to interview you two. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
Oh, well, we can't say. We'll give it away.
Your favorite scene?
I'm going to say I love when there's like just those heartfelt talks. There's a couple of different ones where there's a couple of different rounds of heartfelt talk. But for me, I always love a kind of a deep dive and a good talk. So I like when there's depth brought into the storyline. So I think that's why
the mother-daughter?
Mother-daughter talk probably in this one.
Yeah,
mother-daughter scene. Okay,
nice.
For sure, beautiful.
That was a good scene. Yeah.
But anytime, like because you have the way you have these characters interwoven, it pushes some of those talks a little deeper too. I don't know. It's like I like that. I like a little depth to a storytelling. I like a backstory. So these guys are all bringing backstory into this movie too, right? You're like, I'm the bad guy, not the bad guy. But it brings that backstory, and it's a lot of fun to watch as a viewer.
Right.
So it's like, we have a series of unfortunate events. We won't call them bad guys or things like that.
Obstacles.
Well, I think when we touched on it, but I think that's what made Brandon so fun is I didn't have to approach it like I wasn't likable. I didn't have to approach it like
fun with your character. I was messing with you. That was great time.
Like I got to approach it like there was a real reason that she wanted to be with me, which is really fun. And the way that they used sound mixing and different things, it typically you might get some ominous sounds or something after a scene, but they didn't do that because that's not the point of what they wanted. Like there's got to be a real reason why every character can stand on their own, and that's what made I think mine so fun. And I know you really wanted to say your favorite scene was maybe the walking scene outside.
Yes.
Where it looks cold because it is cold.
10-degree weather at night.
That was a cold one.
Really shoot days.
And by the way, I have to say I'm sorry, but I knew it was the right move. But man, I put you through. You know what? Oh boy,
It was the right call.
Even the kind man behind me was going, "Can we just do it in the coffee shop?" No.
Always do it outside. Always do it outside.
I missed shooting on the cold day, so I got really lucky, but he was a popsicle.
I watched from the comfort of not being on set. I hate to say it like that. But wasn't it the coldest day in Colorado over the 100 years?
Up until last week.
Yeah.
There is.
Up until
Yeah.
Also,
How cold was it?
this back history should be known, and this is part of filmmaking process. I don't know how many times you've been through this, but on the movie day, we ended up with a massive snowstorm that hit us on the farm, and it interrupted our entire day where we actually had to let the crew stop and get inside, rest, while Brian and I went to the table to figure out what we could do, because with days and a number of days and only time we can shoot, we had to come up with something different and call an audible. So I at one point came to him and said, "Brian, can you write this and this, because that's the only way to do this now?" And he's like, "Okay." I go outside and figure it out, a sample thing that we needed, and a little bit of it's basically a montage of the snowball fight. He's still working inside, coming back going, "I think I got it. I think I figured it out." I'm like, "Great, we're throwing in the Jeep, we'll shoot it." And that Jeep shot inside is during the snowstorm. We're driving in the snow with French overs. I was actually operating on one of the cameras, my dad on the other, because I knew what I wanted. I'm like, "Let's just go." And then we landed and we did that scene outside inside the Jeep where they're talking. And that's all audible. That was a different thing in the script and everything just to make it work, because we have to finish these movies.
Explain what audible is.
Well, it's like calling an audible in football. Like in the last second when you're on the yard line,
Okay.
you literally
Sorry, I'm not a football person.
Here's the play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the entire plan that's been planned for months is changed instantly.
Bye-bye.
But that's the great thing about our team is like no scrounging in the moment, no freaking out. We just come to a solution. The beauty of being creatives is you always come up with a creative solution. And I actually just looked at it, Brian, and said, "You know what? It's going to end up being better is what's going to end up happening."
That's a really cute scene.
yeah.
Thanks, Gigi.
Do what must be done.
Yeah, don't freak, don't panic, just get it done. But
And with this team, it always works out. Like literally, I learned to go with the flow. I was such a control freak about certain things. I'm like, okay, well, it says this in the script. And then I think like my first day on set, I was like, oh, we're going with the flow. Okay. And you just have to trust that no matter where you're going to jump, these guys have your back. Your other actors have your back, which again is just an amazing work environment.
I love that you took a snowstorm and took your lemons and made lemonade out of it, and you got something visually.
Frozen lemonade, but yeah.
Frozen lemonade.
You know, it was the frozen.
No else.
more of a
The
shade.
original script was them in the back of Jordan's truck, sitting there together, sun at nighttime under the stars. No, snowball fight in the Jeep, make it cute.
The writer,
You know,
not yellow snow. And I'm like,
Exactly.
oh man. But
No.
yeah. Sorry, but you'll see these things while you watch the movie, and that's the fun part about it. Is what looks like a typical nice thing. We planned it all. You know, on any movie, I think you're going to run into that. You're going to run into some situations, and it's just working through them. But a big part of it is, again, trusting the actors. You're giving them something, and they're not, they don't freak. They just go, "Okay, we're going to go with you guys," and we love that. We love it about these guys, big time.
Except for Gigi, she panics every time I see her. So breathing. Do yoga.
Now, Gigi, how did you get involved with the crew?
I got involved because I had some friends that I had worked on a movie with that had worked with Brian before. And I think they had kind of recommended me because he knew that they were shooting in Colorado. And it's like, shooting a movie in Colorado, I know somebody in Colorado. And then, I just auditioned and got to be part of the team.
You did a good job stalking us on Instagram too.
Yeah. I'm a creeper.
We're real good at creeping too. On Instagram.
Actually, what she's not telling you is during engagement plot, she would tell me about all the food places to go to. So I'm like, she was creeping, but she was helping me.
No, it was,
and then
honestly.
I'm like, she's really cool. And then
she's a hustler.
And by the way, I get to know people by their personality. Kier just mind you, on Engagement Plot's rap party, I met him and shake his hand, looked at Annie and go, does he act? And she goes, yeah, well, he's done it before. And I'm literally, that's why I just felt it. I'm like, yeah, in our next movie, I'm asking for his tape on this particular character.
Yep.
And when you get to know people, we write for those characters and we plan, and it brings confidence to the situation, and it allows us to create scenes and situations and circumstances for their characters. And to be honest, every actor needs to be pushed for their strengths. So that's what we try to do more than anything else.
Crush it.
Yeah,
They crush it.
And for any actors out in your suspenders unbuttoned audience, be like these three right here. Be creepers on Facebook and Instagram. Hit him up. Hit him up.
No,
Because
Brandon's DMs are about to get hot.
But you know, I think the connection is wonderful.
Private parties out there who I've been working with for now a decade on One Calls the Heart, and I love them so much. And honestly, this is how you build a tribe. This is how we build a metaverse,
which we have in our rom-coms.
in our rom-coms of actors who come back to our rom-coms because they want to work with us again. But it all starts with being fearless, and that's what these three actors are. They're fearless. They're not only fearless to try to reach out to us on social media, but they were also fearless with going with what we asked them to do. But as Brandon said, they found their strength in the moment, and that shows up in the movies. It shows up 100%.
Yeah.
You just let me be a goofball on camera, which is
I actually had a producer recently asked me, hey, how come you're bringing all these actors again and again? And I go, because I can. And that's the truth. A lot of creatives can't. They don't see it that way. They don't know how to do that. They're so worried about their audience seeing the same thing again. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. We'll create a new circumstance, situation, whatever we want to do. And if it's right, it's right. We go by instinct and gut. We always, and by the way, I use the term audible. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Brian and I are on the fly, and I change things on the fly. Literally, I go, nope.
Well, we saw you do that firsthand at Rama Drama.
Right.
Oh,
right.
You guys did see that.
Back with the stars, right?
Yep.
Which was super, super fun. You know, I love that you brought up about the connections. You made connections with people. You're cast, and then you're cast again. We see these connections over and over again. And you know, when you're watching as a viewer, you can see that as actors are more comfortable in a setting, you're going to get something different out of them. You know, we see it when an actor only gets the same thing, but we also see it when you get actor bringing something different. So I can't wait to see this movie, The Happy Camper. But now I'm like excited to see the next movie too, because I want to see the next thing they're bringing to us.
Right.
We like hearing that.
Yeah, we do.
That's the whole point.
And that's the thing, is we're really excited about bringing great stories. That was the one thing when we started working together, and you know, we all came from different places, and that's what I love about it is we've all been in the industry for a long time, and I think all of us have seen a lot of movies, and we've seen what's good and we've seen what's bad. And the one thing that I think we all agreed on is on set, no craziness, no yelling, no let's get angry at each other and all that. It's let's have a good time on set.
It's family.
You know, family, exactly. And that's what I think it ends up. And it comes across on screen when you're done without being too campy too. Happy camper, but not too campy. You know?
That should be the tagline.
Not too cute. There you go.
I do think in Happy Camper, Vivian should win the festival. She had the best camper by far. I'm just saying.
Thank you.
Everyone should watch the movie and decide for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, but hey.
I'm a little biased. I worked really hard on that trailer.
Yeah.
Or where you can get all the stuff. I'm just being a realist. Like, you have the access to every antique. You should have won for the 5th or 100th time in a row, whatever it is.
No, it's Gigi, but what's
Right.
behind that? Make it
Maybe Gigi got you switched in there.
Yeah. And don't forget, you know, the villain guy, he felt like refinance his entire company because I'm not going to give it away.
Well, he just starts up a new LLC, and it's like that, you know. Hey,
But you'll get to see all of that on the movie, and we're happy about it. We're really stoked.
Right. Since we know that there is going to be a camper competition, and you're talking about that, I'm going to say I loved watching the campers on screen. So things to look for when people are watching this movie. I love the way they were used as background and backdrop, and I love that antique look besides. And so, just visually was a lot of fun to watch. So look for the fun campers. Like,
Yeah.
make it fun.
You know, we did reach out to the real campers. Those people drove from all over. We put them up. They were all volunteers who go to these real festivals. So we wanted to have them in the movie and be authentic to it. We tried to be as authentic as we can because a lot of these movies don't get that chance. So that was one of, that festival is filled with a bunch of people that came out with their own trailers and compete in these things all the time.
Yeah, and that was a fascinating day on set because in between shots when they're getting ready to shoot different things, I'd make my way around and talk to all these owners of these different trailers, and just hearing the stories and where these trailers came from and why they chose to do certain things, really kind of bringing the characters to life in like a real life form. It was really fascinating to hear the stories from all these people, and they were so thrilled to share that on screen with everybody.
Yeah, I bet.
We love finding those real people and putting them on camera too. And bringing
my parents actually sat down, really quick fun fact. My parents went to lunch one day in Castle Rock, ended up sitting next to this couple who were talking about how they just got done having their trailer showcased in a movie. And my parents go, "Oh, that's really funny. My daughter is in a movie right now about trailers." And they got to talking, and the couple showed my parents the picture of the trailer that they had in the movie. And that specific trailer just so happened to be my character's trailer.
That's awesome! Oh my gosh!
More God humor.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a great behind the scenes story.
Great.
Also, way to go, Mom and Dad.
I know.
For the random people at lunch.
And you also see Mom and Dad in the next movie too. So it's like
my parents got a little cameo. They got the biggest kick out of it. So yeah.
We shot the next movie in Castle Rock, their hometown. So it was inspired by Happy Camper. When I was at Happy Camper, I looked up B. I'm like, B, I can do the next one here. And then sure enough, it worked out. You just have these little visions. You don't know the answers, but it always works out right.
Yeah.
I love that. Super fun.
And Karen and Andy got to, sleep in their own beds, and so did I. Because I lived.
It was amazing.
When we weren't shooting there.
Only 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to be put up in a hotel. I'm just gonna stay at my house and just drive 10 minutes away to work. It's great.
You stayed at your house too, right?
I did, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're spoiled too. Yeah, another one.
Perfect. So it's like a regular job. You come home, you go to work.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a luxury on movies, just so you know. Okay.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Because normally you would never be shooting where you live, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Not usually, no.
Yeah. That's amazing. Super fun.
For sure.
So you guys shot on a farm. What are the things that are great about shooting on the farm, and what are some things that are harder to work around because you're on a farm?
Great questions.
Oh God. Okay. First off,
was it a
this
working farm?
movie was loaded because I loved it because I could get multiple locations, and in my vision, it could all be in one location and we live on it.
Right.
You could have the lavender farm, which was something else, but play it for what it's worth. There was horses right there. I could get them in the background. I wanted some kind of like livestock and animals nearby. Those horses you see are on that farm. The barn was important, the big barn and everything like that. Just where we store the trailer, how you do it. So we went there and figured all that out. The house was what I wanted. I wanted a modern house fitted on there. It was beautiful and gorgeous. And thank you to that family. They're amazing. And I can't wait for them to see the movie because they're really excited to see their own land in the movie. Yep. But I will tell you, we had snowstorms and problems, and moving in that mud and being outside in that cold. I just thank everybody and my crew because they are complete warriors. And just figuring out how to get that trailer from the lodge that we kept it in and get it all the way out to that farm. And also you're on a big location set to move for lunch and things like that. And crew, it's always pass vans and getting people in and out of locations so we can work it. And then getting to locations early while crew is way far away preparing another spot. There is a nice thing to be on it, like a backlot studio. Mm-hmm. But in this particular situation, it's a little, it was down and dirty, but I think we were a little country in this movie, so it'll be all right. We were
Another fun fact shows you how small Colorado is. that farm is my college roommate's farm.
What?
I remember that.
How small Colorado is.
No way.
Yeah.
Big family.
Hey, thank them
Wow.
so much. And they message me all the time, like going, "It's beautiful. We love the way you made it look." I'm like, "You haven't even seen the movie yet," but they're seeing like the sample shots
Mhm.
and put on
Yeah.
Trailers.
Instagram and everything.
Right.
And they're so kind. So I'm really excited for them to watch this because it takes
Yeah.
a lot to
They're
give
excited.
give up your home to a film set. It's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
That's a
Definitely,
whole
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I would trust you, Brandon.
Oh, thank you. Well, a little fun fact: and Just Jake, Brian trusted me, so thank God I got another one.
Right?
We're going to your house for the next movie.
Sure, go on.
That actually does say something about your crew and you guys that your own producer is willing to trust you with his home.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
leave locations better than you found them, then
Yes.
yeah, that's the way to do movies.
You know, one thing that was really cool about shooting in Colorado and Happy Camper to this one is that in Happy Camper, we shot at the Moore Hardware store, and that manager and owners have been our biggest advocate in Colorado, telling locations they were amazing. They were like, "Oh my
Aw.
gosh, godsend," because
Yeah.
a lot of people are super scared to let you shoot in their
Oh yeah.
business or anything. And I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad, mean film crews out there, and also don't treat things right. We try to
Yeah.
honor everybody with respect and honor, and we pass that down to the crew. And the crew is, they're our true leadership by what they do,
Oh, yeah.
by far.
Mhm. Yeah.
My so that this just popped up. Thanks, Gigi. So my home is in this new one, the Just
Oh, no.
Jake, which we'll come back and talk to you about that one in a few months. But this was a bit of a negotiation for my wife.
I bet.
It's like having a grubby family of 50 people show up at your house and just plant there for several days. And it worked out great.
It did.
There was only one little paint scratch that we had to figure out how to fix. And my wife and my daughter and our puppy, they went to a hotel for 3 days. So, but it worked out great, and we'll be sharing more about that when we start talking about Just Jake. But it is an amazing thing to film in a community that welcomes you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you go to other big cities, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Vancouver, everybody is so jaded
Yeah.
about the film business because they're used to it. And so they got their hands out like, owe us the money,
Yeah.
but they're also very jaded about it. So it's not special to them. And in our towns of Colorado here for these last 3 movies, this is very special. We're finding that out. We're seeing posts all over the place with people talking about, they're buzzing about a movie came to our town.
Yeah.
Right.
I will never get over that movies are filming in my hometown. It is just.
It happened to me once. They filmed Hocus Pocus 2 in my town,
Wow.
and that was like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
come to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
To piggyback on the team real quick, you meet a lot of different people in this industry,
Yeah.
and you meet a lot of people that let's say have not so great intentions and maybe look out for themselves. And this team, top to bottom, even the third assistant to the assistant on set, everybody is such a good person, and all they care about is making good work and taking care of each other. Like, it truly is one huge, as Brian would say, grubby family. But no, it's everyone takes care of each other, and we all care about making the best piece of work that we can. And it's
That shows up on the lens, bro, and it's so
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
wish
our
people would
crew,
know that.
I got to tell you, our crew, like you said, man, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're surly, but they're fun, man. It's, awesome.
So
It's hard work. You
Hey,
guys
Gaffer.
may, you probably know this, given your connection to Rama Drama and to all of these, these films that you've been talking about. You work 14 hours a day when you make a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the minimum buy-in if you're going to be on a film crew or in the cast.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard work. And you're working, 14 hours a day. We shot this movie in 15 days, so we got the weekends off. But that's a lot of intense work. You grow close. You know, sometimes tensions flare, but our attitude with our films is there's a 0 strike rule, right, for everybody.
Yep.
We got to be on our best behavior. We got to care about each other, and that starts at the top down. We're a democracy. You know, Brandon's a director. Ty and I are executive producers. We're out there lifting stuff. We're having them in our homes. We're lifting stuff. We're carrying stuff. Everybody pitches in, and there's no elitism allowed.
PA's rule.
Yeah.
Amen.
And even these fine actors here, have the same beautiful attitude toward this movie. But even our leads in these movies are also highly encouraged not to be divas. And so we make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
The one thing we've heard over and over is like, these are actually fairly small groups. You know everybody who's there. You're with each other for so many hours a day. If one piece is not working, it makes everybody not work. It just, I love that. It's like more of a family. It's like, what does it need to do to get done? And then it sounds like you just look forward to working with them again. And you got to do that again, right?
Oh yeah,
100%. A lot of
Yeah, right. They're just like
That's one of the biggest things. Like I felt like
Spoil alert.
I felt like such a huge fish out of water when I first joined the cast. Like I showed up and I was having severe imposter syndrome. But not only seriously, I was like, oh my God, I don't belong here. But one of the first things, like obviously these three put you at ease, but also I just have to brag on Trevor really quick. Like my co-star was Trevor Donovan. I was like, oh my God, no, I can't. I show up to set and like they brought me, I was like half hair, half makeup. No one should see you half hair, half makeup. But like Brandon walked me to set and like Trevor was across the room and that was our first introduction. And I thought like, I don't know. It's just like, I thought he might be like a little standoffish or like intimidating. And the first thing he does from across the room is like maybe the nerdiest little wink. And I was like, hi, and that's the vibe from jump. Everybody is just so down to just welcome you, give you a big hug and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Not that we want to give spoilers away for a movie that everybody should have watched already.
We've already watched.
That probably was because he knew he was going to get to kiss you at some point.
Hey, he's a handsome dude. I'm just lucky that I locked her down already.
Hey, that guy looks a lot like you.
It's all you just find it. You're in. It's awesome.
But I was going to say one more thing about the family and the crew and so forth.
Sure.
It's an important thing for all aspiring filmmakers to hear, right? Is that it's not that there's no mistakes, right? It's not that if one person struggles with something or makes a mistake, that that happens. That happens because we're all human. But we believe in this important idea that we call critical grace theory. Critical grace theory. And that theory is that everybody deserves grace.
Amen.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you approach it that way, mistakes happen, yes, but it's not about, somebody, making somebody feel bad or like trying to teach them a lesson or anything. It's all about, okay, well, let's figure it out. Right. Yeah. That was a mistake, but we all do that. So it's time to figure it out. We can figure it out. We can solve it, and a lot of crews aren't like that because I've been doing this a long time. I've done a lot of film sets and TV sets, and they're not all like that.
No.
A lot of people are just there for the paycheck, and we of course want people to want to earn a paycheck, but we want them to be there because they're investing themselves into something bigger than themselves, and they're being part of something bigger than themselves. Right. And we all feel the same way. That's how Brandon leads a set. Is he knows all the jobs because he's done all the jobs in the past, and so he cares about them, and he is only as good as his crew is.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Love that family thing. Hey, got little twist because people want to know about actors or anybody, all of you guys. How did you get to be doing what you're doing? Like, how did you become like an actor? Like, did you just always know you were going to be actor, or did you like come there that way, or did you, Brandon, always know you're going to be a director? Like, how did you end up a producer? I know these could be like an hour-long discussion.
Well, I've shared mine on with you guys, so I'm gonna let everyone else have the floor, even though it's saying it's Brandon's podcast. That's BS. There is. But I'm gonna liaise on these guys. But I think because I've shared my story with you guys, and I'll definitely come back on it another time to do it.
But
I want to hear.
Yeah.
I think the two of them. The start is a great story because it's a testament to bringing credibility, and it's sad because what we should be lifting up is potential. So I would listen to their story for sure first, and then Gigi take it home with a slam home run. Okay.
Okay.
I just rode her coattails my entire life. No. I think since high school, I mean, probably before that, I knew I wanted to be an actor, and then we moved out to LA. TV film is hard to get into out there. I don't know. I heard it was really easy. It's hard. It's hard to even get into the door to be told no. But I found a really good career in musical theater. I toured all over the world. I worked in Vegas. I did cruise ships with this one. We worked down at Disneyland in the Frozen show. I know Prince Hans.
Yeah.
My friend. But
yeah, you do.
It all stemmed from there and having a wonderful career in musical theater, some TV film here and there. And then we moved out here and we're just lucky enough to meet this team and find a team that allowed us the opportunity to go in and show what we can do. And not only that, but be able to build relationships. So yeah, long story short, always knew I wanted to be an actor. And it's just, you find those moments that kind of pop out of nowhere, but it all comes from the work that you put in, the relationships you build, and the kind of person that you are. I've worked with a lot of people who are way more talented than me, but they burned a lot of bridges along the way and they don't get hired again. And it really comes down to, are you a decent person to work with? Do you have the chops to do it? But put in your work, do your work, and just trust that is going to be enough.
Amen.
I love that.
All right. So you guys have been together since high school.
Basically.
Well, great. Yeah, we've been together at what, 15 years now?
This will be, wait, what is today's date? In 3 days, it'll be 15 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
And
So
they have a new baby.
We do have a baby. My baby actually made a small cameo in Happy Camper. Nobody else knew.
Yeah.
He was right there.
But
I
he
clearly have a pattern going on here.
You only film with pregnant actresses, correct?
Yeah. I think for me, there's a higher power at work when it comes to how I found these guys and what my journey was. I think once you get bit by the acting bug, it never leaves you. I've always known that like this is what I wanted. But I think like Kira was saying, like it's really hard, and it's really hard for somebody like my type. There's millions of tall blonde, ladies in LA, and
There's
Gigi,
only one.
Thanks, honey. It was just I had a tough go at it, and so actually in like 2017 was when I decided to lean more on my visual art versus my performing art, because I threw my hands up and was like, Jesus, take the wheel. There's got to be something out here. I was tired of like waiting for somebody else to give me permission to shine, to be the best I knew I could be. And acting is really tough. You get a lot of no's. So I knew I wanted to pursue my art. And so luckily, in a weird way, me leaning on my art when COVID hit, my art was actually the thing that saved us, because it proved really successful during the pandemic. It allowed us to move home. We left LA because we were like, we have family in Colorado. Family is so important, which echoes with these guys. So we actually made the scary decision to like step away from LA, go home. And I leaned into my visual art, and that became a full-time business. And I didn't say goodbye to acting. I just said, see you later, because I'm going to go with like where my heart is calling me right now. And my art business was flourishing. And so honestly, like I said, when I got this audition to be in the engagement plot, I was like, do I even do this anymore? Like, okay. And it's a really scary leap to maybe switch from one creative thing to another. But the fact that this boomeranged back to me, I got to move home. I get to be a homeowner. I live back in my hometown and I'm shooting movies. Like, there's a higher power at work. But like Keir said, like, if you're a good person and you plant the seeds, like it'll come back to you. You just have to believe if you've done your job, it'll come back to you.
It's a great story. Now, Andy, before we move on to Gigi, tell us if we wanted to did you have an art page on Instagram or a website?
I do. So I've always done fine art, but I tried something really random and I started decorating sugar cookies.
Yes.
It's art on a cookie.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I washed the dishes.
The art was so good, I never ate my cookie in engagement plot.
Cookies for everybody for engagement plot. So our last name is Kierkegaard, so it's a really unique last name. But my company is called Kirky Cookies with all K's. So if you go on Instagram and you look at Kirky Cookies, you can check out my cookie art. I teach online cookie decorating classes when I'm not on camera.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it's a very.
I love that. I love that. I can't even say.
Julie is a baker and a cookie decorator as well.
So you're a royal icing. You're a royal icing connoisseur with actual artistic gift. So
yeah, I kind of cheat. When I came into the cookie decorating game, I had a 15-year history in fine art. So I'm
like ready to dive down that Instagram for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I feel so blessed to get
0 followers. You'll be the first one.
Yeah. To get to do both. So I want to hear Gigi's story because
me too.
Well, my story is I grew up with a family that was in production. So I grew up on set from a very young age, and it was just kind of the family business. And then I fell in love with acting. And around high school, I decided, this is what I want to do with my life. I can't imagine doing anything else. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of when like that's your passion, that's your purpose, when you go, I can't imagine not doing this, So I went to college and studied theater and film, and I ended up moving to LA, and kind of the same story of, I thought, I have all this stuff on my resume and it's going to be fine. It's going to be easy. And it wasn't. It was hard. And it was hard to get a good agent, and it was hard to get in the door for auditions. And when you did get in auditions, it was auditions that you were like, I don't know if morally I want to do that, or, things that you're met with that you have to make a choice. And I feel like God does honor those choices that we make when we say no to things that aren't for us. And so, I lived in LA for a while and kind of did the same thing, where it was like, well, I'm just going to keep going. And eventually I decided I am ready to be a mom and I want to have kids, and I don't think that I want to do that in LA. And so I really felt like, I think acting is maybe something that will come back to me, but for now I really feel a peace to just lay it down, and hopefully someday God lets me be an actress again. So about 4 years ago, a friend of mine who I was on a show with a long time ago said, come audition for my movie. And I said the same thing, like, well, I don't know if I really do that anymore. I'm not really an actress anymore. And he said, just because you're a mom, that doesn't mean that God takes away your giftings. I know that you're gifted as an actress, and you can be both. And so that was kind of where I got back into acting. And it's funny because you think like, well, I'm not 25 and adorable anymore. I'm an over 40 mom. And how is this ever going to be the timing that I'm going to be in, these big movies? And it's just funny. God has a sense of humor where he brings it back in the right timing. And I've been so blessed to be able to be part of, this film and some other really amazing films. And it's really cool that like they said, if you are good to people, if you're a generous actor, you're a generous like team member, that is honored, kind of the same thing. Like I was in a movie with somebody else. I did my best. I was good to people, and they reached out on my behalf to say, hey, you should look at this person. She's a good person and a good actress. So I think that's all kind of part of it is the goodness, the generosity that you carry with you on set. So
I love that.
Another really good story.
Yeah, these are fantastic stories. So,
And as a mom in her 40s, I appreciate your story of like coming back. Yeah.
yeah,
Mom,
yeah.
we love the working mom thing, and that you're still a whole person. We've had this discussion with Brandon before. Shout out for supporting moms who are working, very pregnant. He's even a very pregnant lead actress, and
Yeah.
moms who have had to do that. Shout out to that for those moms, the real people, working families.
And that's why it's so fun to get to shoot in Colorado.
Yeah.
I get to go to my kids.
Very family oriented.
Yeah.
We love that. We love that. And you two grew up wanting to be producers, I'm sure.
Heck no. Oh, yeah.
At 8, you were like, I want to be a producer.
I guess I'll start. You want to go?
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I came to LA as a guitar player and got to be a section musician and had a great time doing that. And it just so happened a friend of mine who worked for MPCA, Brad Cravoy, who he works with now, brought me on as an assistant production accountant. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just hanging up my guitar. And that led to a job at Saban. And it goes to just being able to doing anything you can to help everybody. I mean, that really, if you start in the business and you're willing to do whatever, and I was in my 30s and started as a PA on Power Rangers, literally scraping gum off floors.
Which Power Rangers? The original?
Yeah, which one?
The original.
And
Big Bad Beetleborgs. And I got
OG.
Furby was my bro.
Yeah.
And that led to me just talking to people. I got into distribution kind of through, I didn't know anything about it, honestly, nothing. And I'm not going to say I lied my way into it, but
Yeah. Go ahead and say it.
exaggerated.
make it.
That's another topic altogether. But
You make it.
Different
Yeah.
lesson room.
12 years at New Regency, doing stuff like Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Fight Club and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got out of that, got independent, and that's where I met Brandon. And one of the things both of us talked about was doing movies. Can we do movies in our semi-toxic industry that are going to be not only good, but fun to work on and fun to sell? Because that's my job, is how do I go to whatever, Cannes or Berlin or wherever I got to go and convince the buyers that, hey, this is different. This is something unique. And, and that's where we got to. And then we met Brian, and it just became, we met him at, it was just something that we were going to do. We went to NRB and we sat down with him and we all got along great. And then the next thing, we're all sitting back on, you guys want to kind of try to start something and see what we can do? It's led to this, and we've
Not
had
kind of try to start some.
Oh, start something.
Start something.
Yeah, it happened, and that's where I really do believe in God's providence, is that He's we trust Him in everything we do, literally, and it's like, show us the way, we'll do it, even though it sounds absolutely nuts and crazy. Hey, I want you to go film in Colorado. Oh, boy, what's in Colorado? Colorado, okay. And that's but that's what led us to them, and it's all worked out so beautifully. And we've met some amazing people in the process. I mean, lifetime friends with them and with everybody we're on with. But I'm going to pass it over to Brian right now. But that's kind of it. Go with what legend. You want to find. I mean, just don't stop.
Amen.
Keep going.
Be fearless. Be fearless.
Yep.
Well, my path into film and TV started in high school. Where I was a very average student, a very average B+ student, and everything kind of came hard to me except one thing. And I was in my freshman English class, and my teacher held me back after class and said, I need to talk to you. And I thought, oh man, what did I do? I'm busted. And I went up, and she had this essay that I had written, and it had an A+ on it. And she said, I want to submit this on your behalf into a contest, to like an essay contest. And then she said, but that's not the most important thing I want to say to you. She looked me right in the eye And she said, you could do this for a living if you want to. And I looked behind me to see who she was talking to, because I think it was me. And that teacher dogged me all the way through high school, to get on the school newspaper. And by the time I was a senior, I was the managing editor of the school newspaper, and which is sort of a nerdy thing to do, except you get your byline in print and everybody like talks about it. And all of a sudden, like for kind of a nerdy dude, that was kind of sweet, right? Well, that same teacher said, you got to go to journalism school. And I kept saying yes to her.
Yeah.
And my parents loved me, but they didn't know what I was best at.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because as parents, we're biased. We love our kids unconditionally. We're supposed to, at least. And we're proud of anything they do and everything they do.
Usually we love them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you get praise for taking a little duty in the toilet, that's a really low bar for praise, right? So it's not your parents who really are your champions in terms of what you're destined to do, in my opinion. You need to find 3 Mrs. Stevens in your life. That was my team.
Cheers to Mrs. Stevens.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers to Mrs. Stevens.
We've all had that teacher that has impacted us in our path.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Miss Miyakato. Awesome.
And that launched me into my writing career that morphed into film and television, maybe 4 or 5 years later, actually, after I got out of college. And I've been writing, had my first cup of coffee in the big leagues when I was 25 on an old show that only a few of you will remember, which is Fantasy Island. That was my first.
The plane.
It's a mosquito.
Yes. And so I just said yes to those adult champions, and everybody who wants to get into this business, or really to do anything with their gifting.
Yeah.
I believe in the rule of 3 champions. You need to find 3 adult mentors who are wounded warriors.
Amen.
Who've been to the wars. They have earned the right to their opinion. And if they confirm in you what you're gifted at, then you have to do it. You're like sinning if you don't do it. You're robbing the world, and you're robbing yourself of what your gifting is. So we all need those 3 mentors to speak into our lives and be champions for us, to look us in the eye and say, you could do this for a living if you want to. Yeah. But I encourage all young people who want to do this to find those 3 wounded warriors who know what they're talking about and get those confirmations, and then go. You have to do it. But until you get those 3 confirmations, you're just playing around, right? You're just a YouTuber. You're just and it's really important that you find those 3 champions. So that's how I got in, and now I've been doing it for over 35 years, and I've gotten a few things done. So
Few.
I feel like that's a great reminder to just as adults, to the young people around you, when you notice something special about them, tell them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be a champion for young people. That commit yourself to that.
Yeah. Encourage, don't discourage. I mean, that's the thing, man. Is like there's enough discouragement out there right now, and that's one of the other things we really try to do, honestly, in our movies, is the encouragement. A good underlying. It doesn't have to be preachy, but it has that underlying tone of faith that hey, it's okay to fail. It's okay to miss your mark, but eventually there's going to be people around you that are going to lift you up, and that's important.
Be your best self.
Yep, big time.
Yeah.
I love these stories. I think that was I loved everyone's path and their journey. We love hearing how you got to where you're at. But let's finish this up and talk about what we really came here for. So what movie do you guys have airing?
The Happy Camper.
Happy Camper. Baby.
And tell us again when it's airing.
January 20th on Up TV, Faith and Family streamer.
Yep.
Okay.
And then February 5th will be 7 p.m. The Broadcasting Network on their channel Up TV.
The premiere.
The premiere, yeah.
Okay. So so that's all happening very soon. Actually, we have days until it's available on streamer, and under a month till it'll be airing on Up TV.
But please watch both times, the streamer and on TV. Yeah, all 4 years
watch continuously. For sure.
For the next 4 years.
4 years.
Guys, just so you guys have some perspective on this, and it's an honor for us too, and our talented, actors. But the engagement plot scored the highest ratings of any movie on Up TV in 5 years. So we want to beat that with Happy Camper. Every time. All your listeners, lean into those ratings for us, if you would, please.
Yeah, no, that was fun to hear when we heard that the engagement plot did so well. Under Trevor Donovan is so nice. We met him also in person before he ever came on, and he really is one of the sweetest people ever. Yeah, but
he's swole.
But we're gonna do this Happy Camper on Up TV. So we'll look forward to that, and we'll post some of those things as that gets closer too. So we just like to thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
Hang out
Honestly,
with us here.
Rock and roll.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Hang on for 1 second. We'll end the broadcast and say goodbye off camera. So thank you everybody for watching, and especially thank you to our guests today.